Snake Cottage, or Snottage, by Quilly. Chapter 1. Welcome Home. Crowley and Aziraphale made sure the house was completely ready before moving the snakelets. It would be stressful enough to change their environment without inviting disaster via stacks of boxes and unpacking. The cottage was quite a bit bigger than Aziraphale had initially intended when he first began to daydream about it, but concessions had to be made. Though it made him nervous, it was a 2-story affair, the upper floor being dedicated to bedroom space for the children. With no telling which form they preferred, or would prefer, both he and Crowley felt it best to prepare for all eventualities. "Angel, would you relax? It's fine," Crowley chided quietly as they stood in the hallway outside of the 5 little bedrooms, each housing a bed with trunks at the feet and little side tables on the left. I don't want to forget anything," Aziraphale fretted, poking his head into every door to make sure the snake terrariums were all secure and ready, resting on the desks in each room. "What if it was a mistake and the children hate it? What if there's hawks or owls that get too close, or—" "Aziraphale," Crowley said, putting his hands on his heaving shoulders. "Breathe, all right? We've already thought of all that. Every possible precaution has been taken. Just take a breath. All right?" Aziraphale matched his breathing to Crowley's, trying to calm the storm inside himself. Crowley was right, of course. He knew they were doing their best. It was all just a little frightening. "I'm gonna get the kids," Crowley said gently. "Walk me to the door?" "Of course." Aziraphale smiled, and let Crowley lead him back downstairs. "They're going to be excited and shouty, and wanting to go everywhere and explore everything," Crowley said as he made to the front door. "So, showtime, I suppose." "Showtime," Aziraphale nodded, staying in front of the doorway and watching Crowley go to the Bentley to gather their sleeping brood. The drive had quite tired them out, poor things. Even Tatura, who inherited their father's deeply unfortunate speed demon streak, had succumbed to the warm sun and gently rumbling interior. Crowley hefted their travel carrier in his hands and carefully walked to the front gate. Then he hissed into the carrier. "Wake up, Spawn," Aziraphale heard him say. "We're here." Aziraphale smiled as he heard 5 little voices start to jabber excitingly from inside the carrier, and made sure he was well within view as Crowley started walking them down the front path. "Welcome home, my darlings," Aziraphale cooed when they were close enough. "Can we get out now? I want to explore," Junior cried. "I think while we're first showing you the house, you lot had better stay snaky," Crowley said, setting the carrier down and unlatching it. "Aziraphale and I will carry you around, show you the whole place, and once you've seen it all, you can pick out your rooms and run wild like little hooligans, all right?" There was a chorus of assent, and Aziraphale stooped to let Rosa, Angelica, and Clem wind up his arms and settle, Rosa around his neck, Angelica hanging out of his breast pocket, and Clem held in his arms. Crowley got Junior and Datora, and thus laden, began the tour. They showed the children around the open living room and dining area, the spacious kitchen, the French doors opening onto an enormous backyard overflowing with plants and flowers. They showed off the conservatory and the apple trees making a small orchard in the back corner. They took them around the low stone walls marking the edge of their property, and then back inside to point out where their bedroom was, just off the kitchen, and began to ascend the stairs. "The whole top floor is for you lot," Crowley said, and 5 little snakes wiggled and hissed with excitement. Aziraphale grinned. Once they were in the upper hall, Aziraphale knelt and let his charges down, Crowley following suit. "All right, children," Aziraphale said. "You each have a bedroom to yourselves. Go pick them out." "I want this one," Junior hollered as he beelined to the nearest door, and the rest took off like a shot, choosing rooms. There was a brief tussle over who got the room that had the patch of sunlight slanting across the bed currently, and some confusion when Clem nosed his way into the bathroom rather than the bedroom, but soon all 5 rooms were happily occupied. "May we change, Father?" Rosa asked in the doorway. "I want to start decorating." "Decorating with what?" Crowley frowned. "Aziraphale, can I make the bedspread blue? I want to make a keep out sign. Can I put my basket on the window ledge?" "We still haven't shown them the basement," Aziraphale said quietly as the children chattered, "or told them about the wards. I think we can let them have a little while to get used to the space before we get into heavy stuff." Crowley murmured back. I have a feeling we're about to get swamped with a big shopping list in a moment. Aziraphale smiled. Yes, children, if you want to change you can, he said, and 4 out of 5 snakes became children, a little bigger than they had been when they first learned how to pull off that trick. The sight of it knocked some of the breath from Aziraphale's lungs for a variety of reasons. They were growing so fast, they looked so much like Crowley and himself. He didn't need to use a miracle to understand them. And he leaned into Crowley's side. Crowley put an arm around his waist and kissed his temple. Aziraphale let himself rest his head on Crowley's shoulder for a moment, and then succumbed to his children's beseeching for minor cosmetic changes to their abodes, allowing himself to be dragged by the hand into each room. Later, sitting on a very different garden wall and watching their own new life run and scream and play in the grass, Aziraphale let Crowley lean into him this time, holding his hand and feeling his extremely full heart thump in his chest. I don't know about you, Crowley said, but this is the last thing I would have expected from life for us when we stood up on that blasted wall. Quite, Aziraphale chuckled. God works in mysterious ways. Oh, don't bring her into this. You'll attract her attention. Crowley grumbled without heat. He squeezed Aziraphale's hand. I love you. And I love you, Aziraphale replied, and sighed in deep contentment. A bizarre turn of events, certainly, but not unwelcomed in the slightest.